Good day, everybody. So good to see everyone's smiling faces. I'm assuming that your spring break was substantially salubrious and that you recharged your brain and focused the mind for the last stretch of this wild and wacky year. More than anything, I hope you're safe and healthy. Okay, that's not entirely true. I mean, sure, I hope you're safe and healthy, but the thing I hope for more than anything is that you're sharing these YouTube videos with your friends around the world and that I get like 1 million views and become the TOK John Green and get a book deal out of this and a TV show and millions of dollars. That's what I hope for more than anything. But yeah, I hope you're safe and healthy too, I guess. The brain is an amazing thing, but one thing it isn't quite great at is memory. It requires too much energy to remember absolutely everything, and so it's not surprising to me or the other TOK teachers if you've forgotten what we were talking about prior to the long hiatus. So here's the 10-second recap of everything we have done in this unit.
These questions, these criteria, these studies, this awesome American history review, and these reasons why we don't trust experts.
Shaking off the cobwebs a little? Good. We're gonna end with a bang today. 2 thorny questions that if we address properly, will turn our brains to mush and get us screaming at anybody who will listen about how much you hate TOK. Because that's the goal of this entire class, to get you to hate existence. That's a joke, only kind of. The point is, this is a tricky last lesson on experts, and we're going to need a laser-like focus to address it properly. So put on the big boy or big girl pants and let's, as the kids say, get crack-a-lackin'. The kids still say that, right?
We did these 3 questions in the last 3 lessons, which means we have to do these 2 questions in the last lesson on experts. These 2 questions lie on 2 different roads though. We've already started down one road, so let's keep following that one for a while. The road we started on a couple of lessons ago was some people don't trust experts, which led to why don't some people trust experts, which is going to lead us to seeing this site on our journey. So who do they trust? If an individual doesn't trust or believe an expert for any of the reasons mentioned last lesson, they still trust someone. They aren't doing all their own original research on everything and will still need outside information from somewhere to build their view on an issue, to build their mind world, to form a belief about something. So, where do they go? The people they already trust, to the members of a group they already belong to. Everybody belongs to some group, even the most introverted, misanthropic humbugs amongst us. Groups used to be shaped solely by location or geography. Your group was the people you lived by. It was your village. Now, with the internet, your group is no longer shackled by geography. It can be based off of anything, like your love for the game Warlords of Wazkalan, or pink handbags, or Simpsons fandom, or something more substantial like a preference for a free market or civil rights. You can connect with anybody, anywhere in the world. And how we connect, what we connect with, are those shared interests or desires. Our shared interest or desires leads to similar thought patterns or beliefs and similar behaviors. Monkeys see, monkey do, only we're all monkeys just looking at the other monkeys. And after a while, we start to look more and more like the other members of our group. We become defensive when threatened by outsiders who look different from us or have different values. In defining who is in, who is out, and how the ins think and act, we gain a sense of belonging, value, and meaning from our group. Why we trust our group more than experts is for that very reason. Our group provides us with a sense of belonging, security, and meaning, and we don't want to jeopardize that. If we don't believe what the rest of the group believes, we put ourselves at a risk of being kicked out of the group. Hypothetical to illustrate. Silly examples are always the best simply because they're silly. Sandy believes that eggs are the best thing ever. She eats one for every meal. Because she's a middle-aged white American mom of 3 squarely in the demographic that still uses Facebook, she started a Facebook group for egg lovers. Thousands of people joined, so clearly to Sandy it's obvious most people like eggs. They share videos about eggs and posts and memes about how great eggs are and share recipes for how to make eggs. Sandy's beliefs, and therefore her value and meaning, are supported by this group who believes all the same things she believes. If the group isn't there, some of Sandy's value and meaning diminishes, and Sandy may slide into a crisis. Now let's say an expert comes along and says eggs are bad, and the expert has study upon study and lots of numbers and pictures of fat and dead people. Well, all our other egg-loving friends in the Facebook group saw the study, and they're all like, this is stupid. And this other expert said that expert is bunk and did these studies that show eggs are amazing. And they had numbers in their studies with pictures of skinny and healthy people who were alive.
Now, things Sandy probably doesn't do when all this happens. One, she doesn't go and try to find out more about the studies. What were the parameters and the measurement tools? In other words, she doesn't ask questions about the methodologies of the studies. And two, she doesn't consciously say or think, well, I better believe what my egg friends are saying because my personal value and meaning depend on them.
What does she do? You know how this story ends. You've seen it a lot, probably. Sandy's gonna trust whatever her group is saying. She does it sub or unconsciously. She does it because it's comfortable, familiar, safe, less time-consuming, and because the cognitive categories available in her brain, the cognitive categories built and reinforced by her group, limit her ability to accept unpleasant information.
Who do we trust? Our group. Why? We already trust them because they make us feel good, and because losing their approval would mean losing our whole world. Better to be wrong and loved than right and lonely. But if you notice, there's more going on in this hypothetical than meets the eye. Who is this other expert that egg fanatics relied on? Our question is, if you don't trust experts, who do you trust? Well, one answer is experts. That's experts with air quotes. Experts with asterisks. Experts who aren't really experts. That is, they're only experts in your own group.
There have been studies done that show we believe whatever expert we want based on what the expert is saying. The term is cherry picking. We search through the bowl of cherries, or studies, and pick the best ones. That is, the ones that we want to hear. One study presented participants with different quotes on climate change, nuclear waste disposal, and gun control. The quotes were said to have come from experts who were shown to the participants. These experts were stock photo white guys in suits who all had a bio that said they were from Ivy League schools. Who was the most authoritative or qualified expert? Well, the one that agreed with the participants' already formulated position. Duh! The study concluded, but because the impressions of the experts by participants fell in a pattern reflective of their respective predispositions, it seems more likely that people are fitting their perceptions of scientific consensus to their values. Translation: values first, then go find the experts that fit those values.
And hello, anti-vax movement.
Vaccines. Or as the fun doctor at your family practice puts it, shut. Seriously, there'll be a slight pinch. Now, vaccines are one of humanity's most incredible accomplishments, and they've saved millions of lives. And there was a time when a new one was a cause for huge celebration.
Dr. Jonas Salk discovers a vaccine that promises to wipe out childhood's crippling and killing enemy, polio. Anxious parents are thrilled and grateful, responding to one of the greatest mass inoculations in medical annals.
It's true. People lined up for the polio shot like it was an iPhone.
Every expert says vaccines are safe and super important. Well, almost every expert. The anti-vaxxers found one expert that said he did a study showing vaccines are linked to autism. John Oliver is way funnier than I am, so he'll take over from here.
So tonight, we are going to look at why these fears persist and what the consequences of succumbing to them can be. And before we start, I kind of get why vaccines can creep people out. Vaccination can mean getting injected by a needle filled with science juice. Although, pretty much every medical practice sounds terrifying when you break it down like that. An appendectomy means removing one of your organs through stabbery. Antibiotics are poisons used to murder things living in you. And even exercise means forcefully burning up your insides. My point is, the human body is a true carnival of horrors, and frankly, I'm embarrassed to have one. And much of the fear surrounding vaccines stems from their supposed link to autism. Now, that is a theory that gained traction in the late 90s thanks to a study published in the medical journal The Lancet, suggesting a link between autism and the MMR vaccine. The study was of just 12 children, and it was by this guy, Andrew Wakefield. And if you're wondering why I didn't say Dr. Andrew Wakefield, this is why.
Follow-up studies of hundreds of thousands of children could not find any evidence that the MMR vaccine causes autism. And investigations into Wakefield's original paper revealed he distorted the data and acted unethically.
He's lost his medical license, the Lancet paper has been retracted.
It's true, Wakefield made a big splash before having his legacy tarnished and his title revoked. He's basically the Lance Armstrong of doctors. But even though Wakefield's conclusions have been debunked many times, he not only denies wrongdoing, he actually still gives talks about the supposed dangers of the MMR vaccine. In fact, this is him in 2011 talking to the Somali community that we saw earlier in Minnesota, and presumably ending his speech with, "Trust me, I'm used to be a doctor."
Yeah, go on YouTube and search this guy. He is still spitting his stuff. And do you know who's watching it? People who don't want to vaccinate their kids. So the formula is find an expert, share the study on social media, and watch it all burn. Anti-vax has become an industry, and many more experts are willing to join the chorus that vaccines are bad if they're able to profit from it, making the problem way worse. We went down one road. For those that don't believe experts, they don't believe them for a host of reasons, and they trust their group and their group's experts instead. What about the other road? What about people who do trust experts? Why do they trust experts? Because this video is way too long as it is, we're gonna keep this short, sweet, and to the point. So, only like 37 more minutes of your time. Ha! Made you check the time bar at the bottom of the video. Sucker!
Some of us do trust experts. Why do we trust them? There are a lot of reasons, but we're gonna cover 3 here. People may trust experts because they are peer pressured into doing it, because the expert is selling something they are eager to buy, or because the expert has appeal. First, people may trust experts because they are peer pressured to do it. While we saw just a couple of minutes ago that your group can get you to reject expert opinion, they can also get you to believe expert opinion. My mom posted on Facebook that social distancing is stupid. She got shouted down by all her friends on Facebook. Now she's more like, well, I guess there's some positives and maybe we should do it. My mom doesn't want to be a social outcast, so she comes to believe what everyone else is believing, which in this case is the advice of experts to practice social distancing for the health and safety of all. Second, people may trust experts because the expert says something they already like. We already saw this one as well. This has less to do with the expert providing well-reasoned arguments, data, and evidence than it does with matching what is already believed by the individual. You don't like Trump? Well, then that legal expert who says Trump should be impeached because of a breach of the Constitution is saying something that is right up your alley. Or the expert is the enemy of your enemy. You don't like Trump? Then you must love Dr. Anthony Fauci right now, who's contradicting Trump all over the place. You see the problem with this though, right? We can get stuck in our own echo chambers where we only select to hear things that we want to hear. We go to the news sources that we know will confirm our beliefs, not challenge them. Why does my dad watch Fox News? Because there are experts on there, and they are experts. They fit all the criteria of knowledge, skill, credentials, experience, etc. that will tell him exactly what he wants to hear. But I sit here and judge him while all the while my news sources are tailored for my particular leanings, beliefs, and value infrastructure. I mean, look at my bookmarks. The New York Times, The Atlantic, 538, Vox, Vox. I can't cast a stone at my dad's bubble because I live in a glass house too.
Quite the mixed metaphors there. Does the glass house pop or does the bubble shatter into a million pieces?
Finally, we might trust experts because they have appeal. they are sexy. They talk real smooth or look real good. People love Dr. Anthony Fauci right now. Why? Well, for some people, it isn't the fact that he is really smart. It's because he has a cute Brooklyn accent, or that he's old, or old and attractive. Yeah, that's a real hashtag used for this guy right now. But don't sit there in disbelief. You do this all the time. You're a sucker for appeal, and it drives which expert you listen to. Which website do you trust more to give you information about viruses? This one? Or this one? Yeah! This one's super pretty. Of course you're gonna trust this one more. I mean, just look at the sleek design and the colors and the easy to read paragraphs. I mean, who cares about the content?
I do. You fail this class and all your other classes if you trust the pretty website over the one that has better information. You can see that this also causes problems. We might get sucked into a personality cult. We start believing everything the expert says, no matter what it is. We trust our teachers, our politicians, our religious leaders to the point that it becomes a matter of faith and blind trust more than reasoned opinion. Well, if X said it, then it's all right by me. But we might be taken advantage of if we take this position, as Jimmy Kimmel humorously points out.
Donald Trump came out with his proposal for a new tax plan yesterday, just like a real presidential candidate would do. It was kind of adorable. Trump has some interesting ideas. He says he plans to raise taxes on the very rich, which doesn't include him because he's very, very rich. He's in the very rich. And also under President Trump, you won't have to pay any income taxes if you make less than $25,000 a year. You won't pay any taxes if you and your spouse make under $50,000 a year. And if you capture an illegal Mexican, you won't pay any taxes at all, no matter how much you make. So, you know, he's here legally. Every politician comes out with his or her own plans and proposals, but I wonder if voters pay attention to the specifics of those plans. It seems to me most people pick a candidate and go along with whatever that candidate says. So today, armed with the new Trump tax plan, we went out on the street and found people who claimed to support Hillary Clinton for president and asked those people about her tax plan. But what they didn't know is the tax plan we presented them with is not Hillary Clinton's, it's Donald Trump's. And let's find out how they liked it.
Are you a Hillary Clinton supporter?
Yes, I am. I like Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I support her.
I'm a Hillary Clinton supporter. Well, for one, it's definitely time that we have a woman in the White House.
Well, I think a female president would be a great idea.
Are you a Hillary Clinton supporter?
I sure am.
What about Donald Trump?
Next.
No, you don't support Donald Trump at all?
I do not.
Would you be able to support anything about Donald Trump?
In short, no.
Donald Trump, nah, not so much. I feel cold towards Donald Trump.
You wouldn't support Donald Trump?
No.
Okay, and would you support Hillary Clinton's plan to cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 15%?
I think that's a good idea.
Do you support Hillary's plan to eliminate the estate tax?
Yes, I do support that.
Do you support her plan to eliminate taxes for those who make less than $25,000 a year?
I would support that, yes.
Do you support her plan to eliminate the alternative minimum tax?
Alternative minimum tax. Yeah, I support that.
Do you support her plan to eliminate the estate tax?
Yes.
And what would you say if I told you those are all Donald Trump's proposals?
I would say he's a pretty smart man. I say I feel stupid.
I would say that that's shocking. But I mean, if it is, I'm still not voting for Donald Trump. He's a caricature.
What would you say if I told you those are all Donald Trump's policies?
I wouldn't believe you.
They are.
Well, I support Donald Trump then.
What would you say if I told you those are all Donald Trump's policies?
Oh, God. I hate him.
In conclusion, none of us deserve to vote. By the way, I don't know if you noticed that if you're watching this on TiVo, rewind, because there's a very fat Spider-Man in the background.
Okay. I've pointed out some pretty cynical reasons for why people trust experts. Unfortunately, many of these reasons are the real reasons why we trust experts. But there are good reasons to trust experts too, and this is where we'll end our journey. Some people do trust experts for the right reasons. What is the right reason for trusting an expert? In my opinion, we should trust experts because they give us accurate information and knowledge about the world. We shouldn't trust them blindly or because everybody else is believing them or because they wear bow ties or glasses or because they're already saying something we already believe. We should believe them because they have the best evidence. They have the best data. They have well-reasoned arguments for their position. Finding these experts is difficult. It takes time to vet or test an expert. It takes effort to trace their argument and evidence. But doing these things ensures that we are getting the best, most accurate picture of reality. And that's the goal here, that the knowledge in our mind mirrors the reality outside of it. Reason should win, not looks. So trust experts, but trust them with open eyes, well-intentioned questions, and a primary value on truth. The kids still say that, right? The kids still say that, right? The kids still say that, right?